Hello and welcome to the Wotaboys Podcast. I'm Brian and today I'm joined by Iris
Hey guys.
and Scav.
G'day.
So we're starting this podcast series because we can't really go outside and we figured it's the perfect time to get to learn about us and where we came from. But first we'd like to give a mad shout out to everyone who shot us questions. We're going to have a lot of fun. But before we get started with story time, I wanted to hit up one question from Umaru, who asks whether or not we'll be sticking around in the community after Corona blows over. That's a bit of a tough one, but yeah, Iris?
Honestly, I haven't really been part of the community too much, but it's always fun to support and see everyone supporting the idols. And I'm always there to I always see you guys, and it's always really fun when I do participate. But yeah.
What about you, Scav?
When this all blows over and we can finally go out and socialize again, I know that going and being a part of the community and community activities, like seeing shows, cons, all that type of stuff, that's probably one of my only good social interactions a week. So I'd like to say that I'd still be in the community after this all blows over, so I'll try my best.
Yeah, that's the thing. Knowing everyone else in the group, I feel like we all have our life plans. And if we leave, we leave. If we don't, we don't. But I don't think it's going to be about Corona. So when it does blow over, yeah, all six of us will be sticking around in Wotaboys. How much we stay in Wotaboys or stay in the community as a whole, that's up to us.
Coronavirus is pretty big, but I don't think it's very a big influence on what we want to do as Rotor Boys. We still have lots of plans, lots of things we want to do in the future, and it's all just been put on hold. But that's it. It's just hold, alright? We still want to get back to it. We still want to keep creating content for everyone and performing Rotor Gay.
Actually, it's kind of annoying. Of course, it's annoying to everyone this has come up, but we actually had a lot of projects that we've kind of just benched for the time being.
Yeah.
So expect to see content when we get out. We're actually going a bit stir crazy because we want to get out and we want to film things. But yeah, I remember actually this is a good part of this question. And being part of the community, we were all really eager before all of this actually kind of blew up. And there was one Saturday we were going to record. And we were all umming and ahhing, like, should we go out? Shouldn't we go out? Should we go out? Shouldn't we go out? It was back when it wasn't that big.
And then that weekend they announced, they were going to close the schools and the shit. And we were like, oh, that's pretty bad, yeah.
They were starting talking about properly implementing lockdowns, and we're like, damn, we probably should be more wary of this.
Inside, yeah.
Yeah. So then we had to postpone it, and now we're kind of here, and we didn't get
Without
to...
any content.
Yeah, we didn't get to record, we didn't get to do that. So that's kind of what this is, right? To keep giving back to you guys who do support us. And honestly, similar to Idols, we can't do this without you guys. So thank you.
Thank you.
I get so much shit when I compare our group to idols.
We're not idols.
We're not idol or idols. We're not dancing idols, but we've got the heart and spirit of idols, okay, boys?
Alright.
Bailey would knock you senseless for saying that, and I'm kind of there too.
If you say so, Brian.
Sure thing, Brian.
But okay, no sidetracking, let's actually get to the story.
Yeah.
Brian, how did it actually start?
Well, idols gives us a great segue to how we started. The thing about Wotaboys is that all six of us met through AGS. Could one of you guys tell the audience what AGS is?
So AGS, I'm sure if you're a fan of ours, you are most likely a fan of theirs. Angel Garden Sydney, or AGS 102, they're a idol dance group based in Sydney. They operate under Uncle Tetsu's Cheesecake Factory, and they are absolutely amazing to go see on the weekend and at conventions and everything like that. Their performances are really cool. I think they're a really driving force in the community, which is how we all got together. We just go, it's really a better taste of a Japanese idol experience with a pit, stage, calls, I don't know, it's a weird family at this point.
Yeah, I think the big thing with AGS, though, is that it was because, at least for me, the calls and the pit is what really led me to connect with everyone. It is something fun to just yell and kind of learn everything together. Because it's all just a collective effort.
And you're all supporting the same group of people.
Yeah,
you all want to see them go far, and you do it all together.
Exactly. So I feel like
It's community. It's community.
I feel like that is the big thing that connected us, especially. It's just the pit calling. That was fun.
It's like, I'm pretty sure, right at the beginning, like, I got in pretty late. You guys got in pretty early into AGS. But when I first started into AGS, like, Iris always gave me weird vibes. I didn't know how young he was at the time, so it's probably just being a teenager. But it was always like this. He was always cold and arrogant with his chest out and all that. And I was like, oh, this guy means business. And like, I only got close to Iris once I started helping out with calls and stuff. So there's that, you know?
I had the similar experience with Richard. He'd always be in the corner, just popping off, going crazy, jumping around. And I thought he was older than me at first. I was like, oh, damn, like, he looks like he's having so much fun. And I was always too shy to go by myself, so I'd go with, like, high school and uni friends who weren't really into it. And so I'd just be sitting there vibing. And, yeah, you can imagine me just vibing in the corner. But it took me so long before I asked, like, can I, like, join over there, please? And, yeah.
Yeah, I'll be honest, Richard does have a pretty, like, it's pretty big contrast between him calling and him outside of calling, because I do agree he does seem a little intimidating, but
when you guys are calling, you guys are like going hard out. It's the joy of it.
yeah, right, like, we might seem different outside, but once we all just kind of work towards calling, that's when you see everyone, and that's what allowed us all to connect, right? It is just those calls.
That's sort of how I picked both of you guys to be part of Wotaboys, just people who were known and respected in the community. And yeah, so we all sort of met up for this AGS thing, but I was also wondering, like, how much of Wordagay did we actually know at the time? Or what was your first experience?
For me, it's completely zero, dude. Like, I think I mostly just knew calls, especially because it was Richard that introduced me to calls. And if you guys were there back then, calling was very different to now. It was still very much just Love Live calls.
No, fua.
Yeah, less stuff like that. We didn't know Gachikoi. The only mixes we knew were the big three.
But I've also heard that before I came along, there were actually people doing Wordagay. Like, not many. But you guys know what I'm saying, right?
Actually, I think there was a few. I think I know what you're talking about. But honestly, I don't remember too much. But yeah, it was pretty niche.
Like, it just existed, and the people who knew would have a go at it once or twice.
I don't remember too much, honestly.
We'll come back to that one. It's like, I remember specifically the first time I really saw Wordagay was when Scav and I went to Melbourne Madfest 2018.
Yeah, no, I remember that. That was, it was towards the end of the Saturday, wasn't it?
Yeah, the first time I saw Wordagay was like the Saturday afternoon show. AGS was on that, like, inside stage. Yeah, it was nice and dark. And there was just one guy who would pop off. And, like, when we saw him, it was like, you have no idea what's going on, eh?
It was a thing of beauty.
It's literally just like a dude and his lights, and you saw this sheer physical terror in it. It was like pretty full on, because like we might have seen Wordagay videos on YouTube once or twice. Like, I'm sure everyone's seen the
Yumetero?
Yeah, Yumetero. Everyone's seen that one.
It came up in like a recommended, like a similar video, and I had no idea what Wordagay was. This is even before.
But like, to see it in person, I was like, that was mad.
Obviously life-changing because we're doing it now, but hey.
Yeah, sadly, I didn't go to Melbourne Madfest to see this, but I think them just seeing it really kickstarted us and just Wordagay in general, because it left an impression on them.
Yeah.
And I think That's why they brought it back and introduced everyone back in Sydney about it.
Yeah, let's go into that a little, because it's still at the con. The next day, Sunday, like me and Scav and a couple of mates, we go down to the maid cafe. And at the maid cafe, they make you do like those punishment games and stuff. And my punishment was to dance. And I was like, I can't dance. So I did this hilarious imitation word gay. And she was like losing her mind. She's like, oh, you're one of those guys, you can do that. And I'm like, I can't do that.
I wish I could.
Yeah. So yeah, we get back to Sydney, and that's when I start learning for real. Like, at the time, I was just trying to get fit, I suppose. Like, I wasn't working out regularly, but I was like starting to work out, and I figured, hey, it's good cardio, and you can learn a bit, and we can like do something silly down at AGS.
I remember when you first, I first saw you did it. Was it to Yo-Yo Kokon?
It was either the Yoikakon or Psychic Fire.
But I remember you doing that, and I ran up to you because I'm not gonna lie. After seeing it in Melbourne, it was in my head, but I never had a drive to learn it. But I remember seeing you do it, and I ran up to you, and I'm like, Brian, tell me, video links, please, resources, give. And I went home, and you were like, oh, just try and learn Thundersnake. We'll do Thundersnake together. And I'm like, oh.
Yeah, I remember we wanted to do just pop a Thundersnake to some song somewhere, but the opportunity never really came because like by the time you learned, I specifically remember it was some cosplay day, and I think you were cosplaying Maki. You couldn't do the Thundersnake because like all your cosplay was getting in the way. So like, whatever.
No, that's fair and sad. Curses. And just to sidetrack here, every con that we've been to, there will always be a picture of me in cosplay and everyone else in performance gear, and it annoys me because every time we get a good photo op, I'm already dressed up.
Oh, I forgot to mention, Melbourne 2018 is where Bailey first sees AGS.
Oh, he has to tell that story. We'll get him to tell that when he's hosting.
Yeah, I want him to tell that story. But I met a few people at Melbourne who we'd meet back in Sydney. Like, we met Kozo in Melbourne. And I met a couple others in Melbourne. But we didn't meet Bailey. But Bailey and Selena, they both came back to AGS because they were from Sydney. Or not Bailey, but they were living in Sydney. And yeah, once we get back to Sydney, once Bailey joins AGS, he's sort of this glue that brings everyone together somehow.
Yeah, it was kind of weird, but I'm happy.
Yeah, it's kind of weird because before Bailey showed up, we'd all get on AGS once a week, say, hey Scav, hey Richard.
Well, I didn't even say, my entire interaction with Richard was me waving or nodding. Like, you know, the sup nod?
Yeah, I think at this point, honestly, we were still pretty separate. Me and Richard were relatively close because we were from the earlier AGS Gen 2 times. And Brian and Scav were closer. But I think what Brian says is correct. Bailey did kind of help us come together as a whole.
A lot of people had their own little cliques already. Like, we had the Philo boys with our friend Watson, and it took someone like Bailey to just bring all his friends together with these other groups, and just to bring in these other satellites like me and Scav, who were just floating around the edges, and sort of just came in for one group of friends.
It was, yeah, I still remember the day, because I had always seen Bailey, and I always thought oh, new guy, that's cool. And then one day, I was in the city, and I just went in to get a tea, I think. I was just going to sit down and have a drink. And he was sitting there, and he just said hi and started talking to me. And I was like, oh, hello. Social interaction, but okay.
Back in the day when we'd actually hang out at the cafe, hey?
The good times.
Yeah.
I feel like that was a big part of us as a group, and
yeah, I think so, actually. It was just a meeting point, right? It was...
Yeah, and you'd walk in and you'd see someone you sort of recognized.
Yeah, you sort of know, so you're like, can I sit with you? I know you briefly, but it's enough to ask to sit with them. And I think that was part of why we did start getting to know each other as well.
And not only that, because once we started to do that, once we all became sort of friends, we'd meet at the cafe, we'd meet at the show, but then we'd also start meeting outside. And that's what got us all being friends, like going to dinner, going to karaoke, just hanging out and being friends.
Or just going in from the cafe. Like, one thing that really got me closer with Bailey was when that time I was at the cafe, I was just going to go home, and then he was like, oh, we're going to the beach. You want to come to the beach? And I'm like, okay.
Nice.
Yeah. And it kind of kicked off from there. So whenever anyone was in the city, it was kind of just, yeah, we briefly know each other. I see you're in the city too. Would you care to do something? Sure. I've got nothing better to do.
Which sort of brings me into my next story, because a lot of us, like old AGS crew, knew a guy called First. He was cool. He was working as a barista. He was from Thailand, and he was actually having his farewell dinner because he had to go back. And we just had this massive crowd. I think it was up to 30 people went down for K-barbecue dinner, right? I don't think Scav was there. You weren't there, right, Scav?
No, I went to a lunch one time before, but that was about it. I remember getting the invite, and I remember being like, I can't go to this.
I think a thing to note as well is, like, as much as Bailey was helping in bringing everyone together, I do think First did play a pivotal role, because First was super sociable. And I think him as well really brought everyone together, and like the 30 people going to that farewell, you could really tell his influence on everyone at AJS.
Yeah, exactly. It was just an impressive community moment, I feel. Because 5 of the Wotaboys are at that dinner. So that's me, Richard, Iris, Bailey, and Watson. And after dinner, we just go down to the park, like Tumbalong Park. There's this beautiful stage. We take checkies with First. And then, like, I think it was Martin. Martin tried to put on Triangle Dreamer on his speakerphone. And no one was biting. And then out of nowhere, I was like, hey, guys, want to learn some word gay? And that's where it started, I think.
Yeah, I think I do remember us even, like, jokingly starting up lessons for word gay there.
Start as a joke, and now I actually really miss our Sunday open pracs.
So that was the first time I actually started to, like, teach word gay. Or at least, I think I showed you guys how to do a fun snake, and that was...
I remember when we were, like, all we had to do word with at the time was KBs, Kingblade, light sticks. Wasn't great. It hurt a lot. I'm pretty sure I snapped a pair.
But we did buy UOs for our first show, right? Time to talk about our first show. So, this is where we get to Matsuri 2018. And so we've had our first Wordgate lesson. I've been doing like Wordgate in the pit at AGS for a while, and management got used to it. They didn't mind. So everyone's starting to know that Wordgate exists in the AGS community now. Then out of nowhere, I kind of just organized a Wordgate practice session with Scav, Bailey, and Richard, and we learn, like, we spent 2 hours out there grinding moves. We did like OADs, Rosarios, Romance, Thunder Snake, all the cool stuff, right?
I remember going to that practice. It was after my class. I think it was after my class or something. I walked down, and I just... Yeah, because that was when I properly communicated with you, Iris, for the first time. You and Richard. I got there, I was super awkward. I'm like, what has Brian invited me to? Oh my god. People. It was fun, though. I vividly remember it, and it was I have fond memories, so...
Wait, was it multiple practices?
Yeah, we had 2 pracs. Yeah.
I think I was there for the first practice, but because I was in school at the time and was nearing the end of the year, I was focusing on studies, and that was why I ended up not participating in the Matsuri festival.
Right.
But I think it did leave a good lasting impression on me, and afterwards I did want to keep continuing it.
And we're glad you did. So, pretty much I taught enough standard choreo that we could adapt to whatever song AGS we're going to do at Matsuri.
We owe AGS literally for being. For being.
Yeah, we do. So we get to Matsuri and we play a couple of songs, and the next one is the one we were practicing to. So we clear space around the front of the audience, and we have UOs, and it's the middle of the day, bright as heck. We crack out yours anyway.
And what song was it, Brian? What is this song that we practiced so much?
We are We are on a cruise. We are yeah, that one. And it's a blur. Like I don't remember. We just did some moves, and then we were absolute mad lads.
Just so people know, all we knew was Thundersnake, Romance, OAD, and then the killer move, which was, oh my god, let's Muramasa. Oh my god. Oh, I remember when the day we learnt that, and I was like, oh my god, this is a power move. Yeah, no, it was fun.
Matsuri was on a Saturday, and then the Sunday was AGS. And then on that Sunday, I grabbed the boys up for a checky. And I forgot who asked, but someone asked, like, what's your group's name?
Just real quick, if I can interject.
Yeah.
Matsuri was a one-off thing. It was a, hey, you guys want to join me for a one-off thing? It'll be really fun.
Yeah, that was it. It was a one-off thing, and because there's no space to do it in the cafe, like, you can't fit 4 boys in the pit doing this.
You can barely fit 2.
This is the only chance we're gonna get to do Word Gay
ever.
It's a one-time thing, so we're gonna take a commemorative photo. We get up on stage, someone asks, hey, what's your name? And we don't have a name. Someone else shouts Wotaboys, and it sticks.
Yeah, the boys.
Yeah, the boys.
But the thing is, even with the name, or should we talk about the name now or later?
Oh no, I'm not talking about the name.
The name, but I've got such great stories about the name.
Are you talking about the other name?
I'm talking about just us in general being like, okay, so we'll just leave the default name as Wotaboys, but we got to come up with a name.
Yes. Okay, fine.
At the end of the day, it's just, oh, so who came up with names? This name, don't like it. 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 Okay, I guess we left it long enough that people just started to know that we were Wotaboys, and if we change it, I feel like it would have just been too far gone.
Yeah, because I think it was... We didn't start the group immediately. I think like Matsuri was started December. By the end of December, we made our Instagram and we called it Wotaboys, and then we just left it there while we thought of a real name, and that real name was Boys. So
yeah, actually, guys, fun fact: we're still thinking of a name. So if you could just give us some names,
give us your names in the comments below.
Yeah, please
subscribe. Had to do it once, right?
Yeah, that's fair. I'll give you that one. Once. If you do it in any future podcasts, you're off. Revoking your podcast privilege.
And honestly, though, guys, like, at the start of Wotaboys, me and Russell weren't even part of it. Because we weren't able to perform at Matsuri. We weren't there for the commemorative HS check-in.
Oh, yeah.
But I think we had shown interest.
I knew at the time, because like Iris, you were part of our first practice session, so I knew you were into it.
Yeah.
I knew that Watson was like, it was something he was interested in, so I knew that both you guys were still sort of interested in it. So that's where we get to like the end of December. We figure it's something we want to continue actually. Like, it's going to be tough because we can't do it at the cafe, but we can still practice outside.
Might be fun.
And then beginning of January, you reach out to me and Rotsun about it. And I think come end of January, we were full on board. We went to the practices. If we find it, we can dig up like an original Instagram story I think we posted from January at the time.
I was away from a lot of the first few practices because they were only like once a week, weren't they?
No, we were doing them quite often, I remember, at the start. Because it was just like whenever we were outside and...
Oh, yeah. It was just
like... hang out and do some Wettergay, you know?
If we were in the city.
Because I was away and then I just remember hearing that Iris and Rotson were like properly a part of it. And I'm like, oh, cool, I get to talk to more people.
Oh, you were in Japan, right?
Yeah. And I remember being over there and being like, oh my god, they have all these colored glow sticks. This is so cool. And I didn't buy anything. You live and learn.
But yeah, I think by the end of January, it wasn't very regular, but we were starting to upload content on our Instagram. people were starting to know us a little, at least like our closer friends.
By the start of February, we're still a joke, but the joke is getting serious.
And I think what really started it, though, was when, at that start of February, Mickey and Martin offered us to perform kind of as a joke at SidFest.
So here's the story. We're out one night for practice, and yeah, like I think it was Mickey and Martin just walking by, and they knew that like we'd been practicing it enough. They knew we were there, and they just come and say, "Hey guys, we've got an opportunity for you. Perform as a collab show with AGS and some other idols." And we were like, "Here we go, boys. It's not a joke anymore."
To be fair, that was the most intimidating, scary thing, because that's when we got like at that practice. I remember we started playing with our cheers, and we actually started like with the modded cheers, because I remember picking up some LEDs overseas for was it, I think Richard wanted them.
I think Richard mentioned the fact that our KBs were kind of holding us back.
Yeah.
And that there was a thing called cheer lights. And that a lot of WTB players overseas were using them modded as brighter replacements for UOs.
Yeah.
So I think what happened was we ended up asking Scav while he was in Japan to grab us some LEDs so we could mod our own chairs that we did end up obtaining.
But on the whole, it just showed our step up in commitment. We were treating this as a hobby, that we now had to actually sink money into it, and that we were willing to buy equipment specifically for this.
Yeah, and at the time, there wasn't like a proper supply of, like, number one, none of us really had the money to support it. Number two, there wasn't a proper supply of colored chems that we could actually get at the time.
It was just UOs, hey?
Yeah, it was just UOs, and even then, like, I didn't buy many.
Yeah, they were relatively expensive. They still are, I guess. So we did kind of find a compromise with electronic lights. So by that point, we had sunk money, had sunk time into it. And with the SidFest offer, that was when we knew it was properly getting serious. And I think that's when Wotaboys really started to become a proper group.
And that's when we buckled down and started to grind hard for that show.
And I think with that change in mindset, I think that's where we'll end off this little story segment for this podcast. Talk about it next time on our story times. But I think that this was really just the beginning of Wotaboys, where it was just a joke. It was for fun. Still is for fun. But it was something we were just experimenting with.
And sort of like my thought process with how I put the group together, I was picking the people in the community who were known, who had made themselves known, who had been fundamental in being the glue. Like people who, like, everyone knew. That was it. It's just like, we were the boys. So it makes sense that someone just yelled out that we're Wotaboys.
I think, yeah, because going back to the start, where calling was what held us together, I think we were probably one of the most loudest, most committed callers at the time. I think that is what connected us. What got Brian to choose us 6 or us 5 for him to join. But yeah, that is the beginning of Wotaboys.
Okay, well, that was part 1 of Wotaboys Storytime. We hope you all enjoyed. And now we'd like to jump straight into our Q&A section. Once again, thank you everyone who actually sent us questions, and we're really looking forward to answering them, and hopefully you get to know something either serious or not so serious about us. Yeah,
guys, look out for future posts. We do plan to keep doing these podcasts, and do plan to keep doing these Q&As. So we'll probably be posting again, asking for more questions. Hopefully you guys still have questions for us. And I guess we'll start off with Lovekey's question. What are each of our Harry Potter houses? For me, I'm a Gryffindor.
Okay, hold up a sec. Like, I know I read a lot, but I haven't actually read Harry Potter, and haven't watched the movies either, so I don't know anything. So what's a Gryffindor?
So pretty much the four houses you've got. I'm sure most people know. I'm sorry, Brian is both cultured and uncultured. So Iris is daring and brave. So I'd say, yeah, I agree with the Gryffindor. Pull on Gryffindor for Iris. I'd say, Brian, you're probably... I'm going to give you a Ravenclaw, straight up.
For sure, Ravenclaw, dude.
What's a Ravenclaw?
So Ravenclaw is the blue house, and they pride themselves on like intelligence, logic, and they're kind of like the quote-unquote nerds of Harry Potter.
Oh, you're not wrong.
Right, guys, that's a wrap for this week. Tune in there.
Bye, guys.
Not saying nerds are a bad thing, but that they are the nerds of Harry
What are
Potter.
you, Scav?
No, they're very eccentric as well. I'd say, as much as I want to be like, yeah, Gryffindor, I'm a Hufflepuff. I'm gonna just say it right now.
What's a Hufflepuff?
House of the Loyal and Fair. Not to toot my own horn, but I've got no other outstanding properties. Nah.
And I think Hufflepuff does suit you, Scav.
Oh, thank you.
You are somebody we can rely on. And I think you do have like the eccentric qualities of a Hufflepuff.
Thank you very
It's a good thing, by the way.
Okay, take your word for it.
So, guys, do we want to speculate on the other three dudes?
I think that'd be fair. Yeah, I can definitely see that. Bailey Slytherin.
Well, what's Slytherin? I know they're the bad guys, but
They're not bad necessarily. It's just
The worst thing they did was portray the houses as one is inherently good and one's inherently evil. Because,
but yeah, like Slytherin isn't inherently bad.
yeah,
It's just they how do you explain Slytherin?
they're ambitious and cunning.
yeah, it's like I'm guessing it's like Black Mana in Magic, right? You're not bad, you're just ambitious.
Yeah, it's definitely Black Mono in Magic the Gathering.
I don't play Magic.
I'm a nerd.
Yet you don't know what the four houses are. Pfft, fake fan,
Oh,
jeez.
Jesus. What about Richard?
Richard?
I'd say Richard is probably either Gryffindor or Slytherin. And I feel like honestly those two are pretty close in what they value somewhat.
That's fair. No,
that-
that's definitely a fine line.
What about Watson then?
I'm gonna say straight up Rotson's a Gryffindor.
Yeah,
He's either a Gryffindor or a Hufflepuff.
yeah, Watson is a Gryffindor or a Hufflepuff for sure.
Yeah, he's brave, daring. He's always learning the scariest damn moves, putting his back out at half the time. He's not afraid to take those risks, and I don't know, I know, like, Brian, you'll always be our leader, but I get a weird parental,
Yeah.
guiding leader vibe from
That's
him.
Watson.
Yeah, and Watson always is looking to push himself. And I think that's very similar to a Gryffindor.
I'd say
Ooh.
so. Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's what everyone's houses would be if they were in the Harry Potter universe. A few of us, we are a little unsure. So I guess we'll see if they agree. We'll try to get them to answer these questions next week.
Yeah, because I definitely want to hear their opinions on it. I'm sure what we think of one person, they might completely disagree with on their hand. But yeah.
So that's for that question. Lovekey also actually asked us, who are our favorite A-MUSE members?
Okay, let's start with what A-MUSE is for those who might not know. Scav.
Okay. Ugh. A-MUSE is an art cover group from Brisbane, and they are actually amazing. I'm just going to say, saw them at that same Madfest 2018 and immediately floored. Like, floored me. They also have a subgroup called Pulsar who perform pretty regularly. Their videos, their performances, them at cons is one of the things I look forward to a lot. So
I think I can agree with that statement.
you can agree with that? Yeah. I was about to say, like, I can't explain it, but the intensity and, like, actually seeing them perform, it riles the crowd up a lot.
And just A-MUSE are mad lads. They're just absolute mad lads.
Oh yeah, they're mad lads.
Like, AGS are like your pure idol. A-MUSE are like your cursed mad lad idol. Like, they're what an Australian idol group should be, you know?
And I think to really hammer that in, if you haven't seen it, they're April Fools. Thank you for plugging us.
Thank
but
you.
I'm not sure if I want to be associated with that video. We'll drop the link down in the description.
Collab when, boys.
You guys have actually collabed with them in the past. Like
we did, yeah. Let's say next story time.
That's save it for another time for story time. But all you need to know is they're absolute mad lads for the community and just for us. Like only nice things.
So Scav, who's your favourite member?
Well, funny you ask. My favorite member's actually Rinya. I'm just gonna say, performance standard, yes, 100%, just up there. Actually, in Melbourne, that 2018, I remember I sat second row. I think I was sitting either next to you or Richard.
Mm-hmm.
Think it might have been Richard, actually.
To what? What was this?
Melbourne Madfest.
Melbourne Madfest was actually, going back to Storytime, Melbourne Madfest is where we actually became friends with Richard, because we went to the Woolies across the road from our apartment. He was staying at that building, and we came up for dinner, and that's how we became friends with Richard.
Yeah, now I remember. Because I remember properly talk. That was the proper first time I ever spoke to him, and I was like, he's cool. He's also a child, but he is cool. No, he's not a child. He's more mature than me in every way.
So back to this Vinya person. What do you...
Yeah. Rinya, just fave member, fave color, best image, best introduction, best performance in my mind, and amazing cosplayer. And I'm gonna say I'm number one fan, guys. So fight me if you want that title, but I'm number one fan. Fight me.
I do enjoy Rinya's performances, but at least for me, I think my favorite A-MUSE member would be Loli. I think the energy she exudes on stage is just so infectious, and I always really enjoy her expressions, and I think I think her enjoyment for the show gets expressed super well, and I think that's what really makes me enjoy her performances. What about you, Brian?
My favourite member is actually Lovekey, because she's hilarious. She's a mad lad. But she has this stage presence where, like, you just stop and you just feel her aura on stage. But I think my favourite member has to be Lolly, just because, like, leader solidarity, man.
That's some bias right there. Come on.
I have a lot of respect for Lolly and what she has to do, man. So, good question, Lovekey.
But before we move on, I'd just like to say we adore every member of A-MUSE.
For sure. Like, A-MUSE is such a hard-working group, and I'm sure I can speak for everyone. We have so much respect for them.
Because, like, they were the first group to be doing this in Australia. Like, AGS took their inspiration from A-MUSE. They were the OGs, man.
What's that? They have been around for a while. I remember even before seeing them in Melbourne.
5 years, man.
Yeah, jeez.
We've done 1 year and a bit, hey. Got a long way to go. Alright, next question. Tubers McGee asks, who can do the most push-ups?
Bro, definitely not me. I used to be a lot more active, but honestly now, not really. I think the most I've done is 50, but I was dying by the end of that.
My personal record is 60, but I suspect out of the 6 of us, it would probably be Richard.
Yeah.
I think so too. I think Richard is definitely one of, like, our most athletic members.
He's the one who comes to practice. He's like, who wants to go for a run with me around the park? And then as a cool down, we're going to do a bunch of push-ups and sit-ups. It's like, oh.
No, thank you.
I just ate a bunch of KFC. I'll pass. No, so I agree with it's either Richard or Rotson, in my opinion.
Maybe. Yeah, that's true. Rotson also pretty active, big gym junkie. Alright, what about you, Scav? What's your personal best?
Like back when I used to do like martial arts, and even in high school, we always had they always count your push-up fitness test type stuff. I actually haven't tried it in a while, but I remember I used to like 30. I used to be able to do 30 and be able to stand up and like go for a run or like try a different exercise. So I don't really know how much above that I could go before feeling really tired, but I feel like it would become really apparent 40 onwards. So I'm nowhere near the top there.
Okay, that's fair enough. Not like push-ups really determine your overall fitness, but it is something fun to think about.
Oh no, don't get me. I am unfit. Trust me, I am unfit.
Fair enough.
Next question, also from Tubers McGee. Who can eat the most ham?
I'd like to put my hand up for this one.
All right. First of all, like, we got to define what ham.
Okay. I think like this is such a broad, encompassing question. It might get its own episode. If you know Wotaboys, you know Wotaboys salami time.
Yeah, right. Like, are we counting salami as ham, or are we counting just like
ham, or
Just like smoke. Let's say shaved smoked leg ham.
In that case, I probably couldn't eat that much. I'm pretty small appetite.
It's sliced for a reason, so you don't have to eat a lot.
No, but that's the thing. It's sliced for a reason that like you have a bit and then you're like, oh, that was delicious. It melted in my mouth. It was not enough.
Okay, then we've answered the question. It's Scav.
Yeah, probably.
I think. I feel like Bailey shares a decent passion for deli foods.
That's true.
Even if I disagree with a lot of his choices of meats, I feel like he still gets behind deli food, and I think he'd be able to give me a run for it. But I'm just saying, like, even before today, I think I had like 10 or so slices of salami.
Whoa. Oh,
like
boy.
before I had lunch, because I was like, I'll just have a taste before I make my lunch, and I just like ate half.
Scav.
I'm sorry.
So,
Oh god, now they know who ate all the salami. If they listen to this, I'm done.
we've got one more question from Tubers. Who out of us could fight a bear the most effectively? I don't think any of us could actually fight a bear, just saying.
No. I feel like Roddy could. Have you seen Roddy? His arm could like one punch, bam, bear down.
Realistically, though,
Oh no.
bears pretty scary, man.
Yeah.
I think
Like, effectively, if you want to fight it effectively, you just play dead for a bit, and then you win because you survive.
You win because you live.
But that's not fighting, Brian. I think, okay, hypothetically, I don't think it'd be any of us three.
No.
No.
Did you agree?
No, none of us three.
I think,
You have the shortest member, like, and then the two of the most lanky members. I'm sorry.
I think in this hypothetical situation, I think I'd either put it on Richard or Rotson.
I put my money on Watson.
Yeah, I bet Rotsam.
Yeah.
Rotson just for pure strength. I think Richard has some random knowledge, and I feel like this might be something he might have random knowledge in, and that might give him the edge.
If you rub this berry on your skin, it actually scares off the bear.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, sure, Richard.
No, but like,
Yeah, it's a tactic.
even regarding fighting, he might have some sort of forbidden knowledge around how to fight a bear effectively.
Forbidden knowledge.
So just DEG the bear, man.
Just DEG the bear.
Ah,
Beautiful. Okay, on to the next set. We've got Rinya asking, ranking for Hunger Games. So if Wotaboys were put in the Hunger Games, who would come out, like, who would be first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth?
I think this will have a relatively similar answer to the bear one.
No, because we're fighting each other.
That's true. But like,
If it was just us six.
I think that the strengths of both Rotson and Richard carry over. So what do we think of the other members?
Wits and sneakiness, like cunning, tactic, survivability. Because I know that, Brian, you've gotten by on some times of, like, minimal food, you'd be able to get by pretty easy on the survivability scale, right?
Yeah, I'd be okay.
You're pretty survivable.
But the problem is with that, Scav, survivability, that's not the only part of Hunger Games. What happens to the fighting?
True. That's very true. I'd still put Roddy up there. I just don't know how badly he'd want to kill everyone else.
That's the thing, like, Roddy couldn't kill any of us. Richard would.
Richard would.
Richard would immediately kill all of us.
I think Bailey also would have enough.
He'd have the guts.
Would have enough in him to probably go up top.
Yeah, I can see that.
Here's the thing, I think Richard would want to, like, Richard would be the first and most willing to kill someone, but Watson and Bailey could take him down in self-defense.
That's true. That's true.
I'd agree to that.
So first, Richard would take out 3 of us.
Oof.
He'd go try to fight either Watson or Bailey. They'd stomp him, and then it'd just be Watson and Bailey left to fight it out.
I think you're discounting the 3 of us, though.
I don't know. I'm pretty fine with that, Scav.
I don't know. I put myself a bit.
You got some hidden card up your sleeve.
Oh, I feel stupid for saying it, but yeah. No.
What's this hidden secret?
No, I did. I don't know how many years of martial arts, and then I did all that weapon training with LARP and stuff.
With LARP?
I feel like that has to carry over somewhere.
You know what? Fair enough. I guess, like,
Yeah, okay.
it's a pretty hard question to answer. There's just so much what ifs and conditionals to this.
Yeah. But I'm gonna say I'm nowhere near top 3.
If we at least have a tier list, A tier is Bailey and Watson.
Yeah.
B tier would be Richard.
Yeah.
C tier us.
Yeah.
C tier, all 3 of us, or does Scav want to be in C tier by himself with his martial arts and LARP?
No, I feel like that's a bit conceited, so I'll go C tier with
So
you
we're
guys.
C tier.
We are, C tier podcast.
Nice.
Okay, I feel like we'll just keep talking about it if we unpack it anymore, but next question. Rinya asks, what order do you put on your clothes after a shower? This is some deep lore in the Wotaboys. I don't know about you guys, but I do shirt, pants, then undies.
I see.
I'm actually thinking about the question, and then I heard that answer, and I'm like, wait a second.
No, it's like, I don't know, I like the Superman appeal of like undies on the outside.
You know what, Scav? You do you.
Thanks, bro.
Next question, I think.
No, you guys need to answer.
For me, it's, I think, undies, shirt, then pants.
Actually, yeah, answering it seriously, I go shirt, undies, pants. I don't put my undies on first for some reason.
I do undies, pants, then shirt.
Pants first? I feel like pants are so uncomfortable most of the time. So I just leave it for last.
But, like, you don't always need to wear a shirt.
True, but you don't always need to wear pants.
Okay,
Yeah, we'll move on to the next question.
yeah.
Oh, we've got. I put socks on last. Just saying, socks on last always. Socks will never go on first.
The socks stay on during sex.
Yeah. Socks. Hate
Okay.
that.
Next question.
The next question, also from Rinya, what color would you pick if not your current? So, if we're not, like, if you weren't pink and you weren't green and I wasn't red, what color would you want to be?
I'm taking purple.
Purple.
I think I'd take green. Honestly, green's probably one of my favorite colors, if not my favorite. So I'd probably go green.
I actually would have chosen pink. No, it's just a night, like, seeing it in the dark, I really like the look of pink chems.
That's true. Pink chems, fair.
Green close second, though. Green close second.
Alright.
But, yeah, I don't think we can really answer for the rest of the guys.
We'll leave that one for them next week.
Okay, next question. Would you rather fight 10,000 ant-sized horses or one horse-sized ant?
No, we are not doing the one horse-sized ant.
No, that's nightmarish. I can't do that.
That's true. Ants can lift 6 times their body weight.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it'd literally just be able to... and you're dead.
Yeah, and I feel like with ant-sized horses, you can just step on them like you do ants.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You could just kind of go just do strafing runs, just run over them in like a line, then come back and then run again, and run again, and run again.
Then again, though,
Could you imagine the sound of like stepping on 10,000
I don't
horses?
want to.
Don't think I
I
want
don't
to.
want to imagine that.
Oh, thank you for that image.
Oh.
Alternatively, you could use a hose, but moving on, I don't want to dwell on this question because it's disturbed me.
That's fair enough. Yeah, moving on. Rinya also asked, if we were a Pokemon gym leader, what would our type be? Scav, you first.
You've thought about this, Brian.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'd be either a dark or water type. Water type because, as plebeian as it might sound, all my starters have been water, except for first gem, which was a Bulbasaur, because I adore that little bud. He's good. He's my friend. But dark because when I started playing like the later games, that was the main composition of my team, especially me trying to be edgy and going through the game with Absol. So, yeah.
Understandable.
What about you, Brian?
My type? Like, the thing is, I always love doing bug type runs, but I would not want to be the bug type leader. Like, my type has to be steel, just for Metagross. Steel and Psychic, man.
Oh, yeah. I think for me, I'd probably also choose Psychic. The whole reason I enjoy Pokemon is its gimmicks, and I feel like Psychic types are the ones with the most gimmicks. So that's probably what my type would be.
What type would the other guys be?
Ooh, that's rough. I'm not too sure.
Things I always describe Watson as like the rock of the group. So
I can see Rodson being the rock type leader, and I can see Richard being the fighter type.
fighting type, yeah.
The one who's like, I've trained for years.
I could see Rodson being a rock type gym leader, but I couldn't see Rodson thinking of himself as a rock type gym leader.
He could be Voxen.
Anyways.
What about Bailey? Bailey strikes me. I don't know. Bailey strikes me the flying type. I don't know where I got that from. I've just always thought him as flying type.
Flying! That's the first thing I thought of too, man.
Yeah, I vibe with that. I think he just exudes that sort of freedom feel that you get from flying type. He does what he wants.
Okay, the next question we'll jump into is from Christy Lee Cosplay. What is everyone's go-to relaxation activity? You want to kick us off, Iris?
For me, I like going out a lot. Honestly, just riding my motorbike around is pretty relaxing. But if I do want to stay a little more active, I do like bouldering.
What was that last one?
Bouldering.
Bouldering? What's that?
So bouldering is a discipline of rock climbing. It's relatively shorter climbs, but without a harness instead, and it focuses more on the technical and dynamic part of rock climbing compared to something like lead climbing or top rope. But yeah. What about you, Scav? What do you enjoy?
Personally, whenever I need to relax or unwind or do anything, I just like to lock myself in my room, play some music, maybe play a game. I might try and make something. I don't know. Like, I'm much more introverted in that, and I'd prefer to just spend the time quiet or just playing loud music, I guess.
Okay, that's fair enough. Brian?
I read a lot, as a lot of people know.
Oh yeah.
Which actually segues into our next question from Choco Colinet, who asks how much time I allocate for reading. And it really depends on what books I have, but I tend to go for a minimum of 1 hour a day. Because it's like, reading is a hobby in itself, and it's something you just have to dedicate time to. Especially, like, right now, I'm reading Dostoevsky, Brothers Karamazov, and I know that you need to actually really set aside the time to sit down and read it. But if you're just reading for fun, then I can just, like, knock out 2 hours, and that's a good time to relax.
Nice.
And with that, I think we are reaching the end of the podcast. And to wrap it up, we'll answer the question from Kriazantis, who creates the video concepts? I think generally it is anyone and everyone in Wotaboys. Find a song we like, a choreo pops up in our brain, we'll pitch it to the rest of the group, and we go from there. And if you do want to learn more about that, tune in next episode where we will be going more into our creative process, from pitching the idea to actually choreographing it and starting to just put everything together. And sorry again if we didn't get to your questions. We'll answer them next time. And we hope you enjoyed this podcast, guys. Thank you for listening.
Thank you very much for tuning in.
And be sure to follow us on our Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook. And yeah.
See you later.
Bye-bye.